What are the limits of federal power over states? Imagine a nation where the central government has complete control over every aspect of life, versus a country where individual states have the freedom to govern themselves. The balance of power between the federal government and state governments has been a central theme in United States history. Understanding where the federal authority ends and state sovereignty begins is essential to grasping the structure of American governance. The United States Constitution establishes a system of federalism, which divides powers between the national government and the 50 individual states. The Constitution grants specific powers to the federal government, such as regulating interstate commerce, coining money, conducting foreign relations, and maintaining armed forces. These powers are explicitly listed in the Constitution, primarily in Article 1, Section 8. However, the federal government's authority is not unlimited. The 10th Amendment clarifies that powers not delegated to the federal government nor prohibited to the states are reserved for the states or the people. This means that unless the Constitution explicitly grants a power to the federal government, states retain sovereignty over that area. The scope of federal power has been clarified through Supreme Court decisions over the years. For example, in the case of United States v. Lopez in 1995, the court ruled that Congress exceeded its authority under the Commerce Clause when it attempted to regulate the possession of firearms near schools. This decision emphasized that the federal government cannot use the Commerce Clause to justify all types of legislation, reinforcing the limits of its power. Conversely, the federal government can sometimes influence state policies through conditional funding. For instance, federal grants often come with requirements that states must meet to receive funding. While this can shape state policies, it does not equate to direct control, and states can choose whether to accept or reject federal conditions. The Supremacy Clause of the Constitution states that federal law takes precedence over state laws when there is a conflict. Nonetheless, states retain the right to pass laws on issues not preempted by federal law or outside the scope of federal authority. This creates a dynamic where the federal government can influence but not entirely dominate state governance. In summary, the limits of federal power over states are defined by constitutional provisions, judicial interpretations, and the principle of reserved powers. While the federal government has broad authority in certain areas, it cannot infringe upon the sovereignty of states in matters not explicitly granted to it. This delicate balance ensures a system where both levels of government can function effectively without overstepping their constitutional boundaries.